Hey guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a great day. I broke out my Mei Liang watercolor palette and I am making some kind of cute doodly trees. I wanted to get some watercolor exercises in today, so I grabbed a pencil and I'm just tracing some very simple oval outlines with little simple trunks. So this is a really easy project for beginners, kids, or just to get some practice and have some fun doodling. And that's what I'm doing today. So I grabbed my Master's Touch watercolor paper and I've been kind of playing with taping my paper to this acrylic clipboard. And it's kind of nice because I can work on a few different pieces at a time and just sort of move it aside. And it's non-porous, so I won't get water going into like a hardboard or anything like that. I didn't really want to use wood, and so I grabbed this and it seems to be working like a charm. So I picked up like three of them for a couple of bucks each and they're working. So I'm mixing up just a bunch of different greens. I wanted each tree to be a little bit different. So I'm just kind of adding different greens and blues and yellows into the same puddle. So all the colors will be kind of similar and they'll all go together, but there'll be different shades of green. So I just wanted to have the trees have a little bit of interest. And then I'm mixing up a separate brown, just kind of a light brown to put on the trunks. And I thought it might be fun to break out the colored pencils today too and practice with some doodles. And so I'm just keeping my trees very simple and kind of cartoony in a way. And I'm going to go over them with some doodle patterns afterward and paint the background. But like you can see, I'm just adding some different colors and making a couple of them a little bit more blue. And I really like the convenience colors in this palette for that. You can really get some good mixtures easily by just dipping in some random colors. So that one, I think I went into like a light lime green. I can't remember what the color's called off the top of my head, but all the mixes make these really nice sort of neutralized greens, even leaning a little bit more gray like that larger tree on the left. And so I'm just kind of mixing up, making some sort of bright, a little bit more yellow, some a little bit more blue, and then we'll finish up the tree. And so once that's dry or drying, and I'm kind of checking it there with my hand, I'm just adding a simple little shadow to each one. And this is cellulose paper I'm working on, so it's okay with the layering, but it adds the water kind of leaves a little bit of a textured mark. But I actually liked that with this. I was kind of embracing the texture and not really caring about the little watermarks and stuff. I just wanted it to be a fun painting and a little bit whimsical. And even for the sort of shadowy bits, even doing little bits of different color shades so that they're all not all the same. And I keep going toward that blue. It's such a pretty color blue. I think that's the turkey blue, maybe. There's some really good blues in this palette. So I'm doing my last little shadow areas, and I'm trying to kind of skip back and forth between my trees, if you notice, and it's just to avoid a little bit of that bleed coming from other trees. I'm not, waiting until everything dries before adding each layer, but I am just trying to be a little bit more conscious of the order that I'm doing things. And so now I want to tilt it up. So I grabbed another small palette. That's my Winsor & Newton Cotman color set. And I am wetting the background so that I can add kind of a pinky color in the background, but I'm also mixing it with some of that green to tone it down a bit. So I grab my quill brush, I wet the back, and now I'm just kind of bringing down that color And having that clipboard propped up on the other palette is kind of letting me let gravity do its work. And so I'm just dotting the bottom, sweeping up on my brush so that I can avoid too much watermarks, and I'm getting as close to the trees as I can. And then I'm doing the same thing on the bottom. And then I'm going in for a second layer here after that dried to add some deeper color. And I'm doing that with my smaller quill brush just to get in some of those tighter crevices. So after everything dries, I'm taking off my tape, and then we can start in with the doodles. And I grabbed my Posca pens and my color pencils so that we could have a good time today. So for this one, I just wanted to play around with different shapes and doodle marks, and I wanted to fill each tree with its own pattern. And they're just simple patterns. This one is kind of using a little multi-size circles. And then I grabbed a different colored pencil, and on this one I'm doing some spirals. And I'm just filling up each tree with something a little bit different. And I'm trying to use a different colored pencil for each one too, and a color that kind of goes well with it. And I'm using that red as just a little bit of a pop of that same background color. And then I end up going back in and doing some little flowers at the bottom after my patterns, but then I grabbed my yellow to add a little bit of brightness in there, and I'm just doing some larger filled in dots, and then I'm doing kind of like a zigzaggy type of pattern on this left tree. And I can't forget the other ones, but I wanted to repeat one of the patterns, so I decided on those multi-size circles to put in a couple of the trees. And then I used this peachy color, and I really loved it. I did that little grid, and I remember thinking to myself, boy, I really want to use this someplace else. So I decided to put just some little just simple little flower shapes down at the bottom that kind of go along with the trees. And then I took out my Posca marker and got that off-white. It's kind of like a cream color, and it has a little bit of contrast with the background. And then last but not least, I'm finishing out the tree outlines with a gray Posca marker. And I really thought this turned out pretty cute. If you wanted to spend more time on this or do different colors, you definitely could turn it into a greeting card or something like that. And it is just, I don't know, a lot of fun. And it's relaxing to do these types of things and just practice your painting, but it ends up being really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the close-up here so you can see everything. And I really hope you enjoyed this video today. I enjoyed doing this. It was a lot of fun. I hope you grab your supplies on hand and try it yourself. But thank you so much for watching today, and until next time, keep creating.